Since the days of Marcus Aurelius and the golden age of Stoicism, men have realized that there are a couple of important differences that set men and women apart from one another. Thanks to the power of the Stoic philosophy, men have found that certain actions and things they can do make a woman more attracted to them. Now, with the modern rise of women's empowerment, these skills and techniques are once again at the forefront, and many men need to learn them. By the end of this video, you'll learn that if she belongs to the streets, or if she belongs in some kind of palace, these stoic tips will significantly change how she perceives you and make her freaky for you again. Fearlessforge. Number 1. Being in control in bed. One common misconception some men have is that they should always be the leader. Now, leading when it comes to the bedroom does turn her on, but you'll see how a little later in this video. One thing that you can learn from the ancient Stoics is that sometimes you just need to let things go, and when you take your foot off the gas, you realize that you might find yourself in the midst of one of her many different fantasies. You see, every woman, regardless of how innocent she seems, does have an innate desire that she wants to be in control in the bedroom. Whenever you allow her to take the responsibility, you'll notice that she tells you and even shows you what she likes and desires, and this opens up the bedroom game to such a level that both of you might experience something new about one another. While you're used to being taught that you need to be in control, occasionally you should relinquish this level of control, and you ought to find out that she might be just as interested in pleasuring you as you are in pleasuring her. The Stoics believe that you can't control everything in life, and when it comes to something like the bedroom, you need to find a way to alleviate some of the pressure on yourself and allow her to take control for some time. This will definitely be worth it in the end. Number 2. Teasing her but not giving in. Another thing that'll make a big difference when it comes to how your relationship moves along in bed is when you learn that delayed gratification can often be better than having it instantly. You see, women don't like waiting, and whenever something happens, they want to be the first to finish and make sure that it's been done to the best of their ability. However, the ancient Stoics teach you that patience is actually a virtue, and if you learn to use patience to your advantage, you can make things that much more fun. But this is broken up into two different things. The first is that you need to make her understand that things will happen at your pace, and while she can do whatever she wants, you live life by your own rules and at your own speed. By utilizing patience, you can delay the gratification part while keeping up the intensity to spark some more intense moments and situations. Keep in mind that the more intense you can make situations, the more she'll give herself into it, and this is when she forgets about everything else and you become the number one thing on her mind. Yes, women can be manipulated by their biological urges the same way men can. The second part of this is that you'll need to tease her and then stop. You see, teasing her and having a valid reason to stop allows you to reschedule things for a later time. However, it's what happens during the time that she needs to wait that's allowing things to play into your hands. The ancient Stoics learned many years ago that if you want to make someone miss you or increase the intensity of a relationship, you'll need to make sure that you occupy their mind for a sustained period when you're not together. This works similarly to marinating your food before preparing it, and it allows all the feelings to be absorbed in her mind, and then she'll realize just how deep she is into it. After realizing the magnitude of the situation, she'll tend to try and push things along, and you can imagine just how open for some kind of a relationship she'll be by then. Keep in mind that this not only works when it comes to the bedroom and your sexual encounters, it also works well when it comes to the relationship itself, and it'll increase the intensity. As already mentioned, the more intense you can make a relationship feel, the better the results that you will eventually achieve. Number 3. Being a little selfish from time to time. After the previous 2 points, this one might seem a little outlandish, and it takes the brass ring and moves with it in a completely new direction. However, the ancient Stoics have learned that women respond to emotions, and the big problem with this is that many men don't understand how emotions work. You see, men tend to see things from a far more logical point of view, which can occasionally work in your favor, but might work against you if you miss certain things. By being a little selfish, you spark a little more negative emotion in her mind, and this is still good as long as you control it and don't allow the emotions to spill out of control. Being selfish can be sleeping with her and simply just forgetting her needs, or even setting up things in your life in such a way that makes her feel as if she doesn't matter. This will force her to confront you or even play some of her passive-aggressive games that'll try to regain the power and sway things in her favor. The key lies here, and this is when you shouldn't allow yourself to be manipulated and know that if she plays her games, some space between the two of you might be needed. You'll have to remain in full control of all your needs and allow her to go through all of these emotions without showing any weakness. The great thing about this is that she now realizes that things will happen at your pace, and this will make her far more likely to want to please you. You see, she's now realized that you don't need her in your life, and now she needs to make sure that you realize somehow that she is someone valuable and important. Women tend to use their sexual nature as a way of trying to make a man feel that he needs her, and this is often when she always tends to put out as well, without trying to weaponize intimacy as a way of trying to regain control of the relationship. The thing that you need to remember is that relationships are a battle of two powers. This doesn't matter if she belongs to the streets or if she's one of the most attractive and successful women you've ever met. You need to lay down your dominance early on. Number 4, she should never feel forced. Before we reach the most critical points in this video, you also need to understand that your personality should be powerful enough that it slightly creates a sense of loss, but doesn't make her feel forced to be with you or even be intimate with you. This removes the pressure, and if you've been with a couple of partners in your life, you'll realize that it can be tense when you or she needs to perform. This will remove some of the intensity, which often ruins the situation and makes it much harder for her to enjoy herself. One of the key things to making her feel comfortable is to make her be the first one to make the move, and this can be a very critical way of making sure she's comfortable enough that she'll truly enjoy the encounter and situation. But this doesn't mean you should do nothing and sit and wait for her to eventually make up her mind. No, it means that you're actively teasing and enticing her in a way that doesn't create any expectations. What you're aiming for is to be the person that she wants to sleep with but needs to work for to get in bed. The moment you spark this sense of urgency in her, she'll be the one who wants to pleasure you, and when you back it up behind closed doors, you have ultimately made her hooked, and she'll constantly desire to be with you again. Once again, this is proven by psychology, and while it might seem somewhat manipulative, the idea is to make sure that you're the one who's in demand. You'll also notice that when you introduce her to some of the women in your life, this will create even more sense of loss in her mind, and it will allow her to fully give herself to you. Number 5, dominate her sexually. Finally, this should all culminate in a couple of moments where you allow the true animal inside of you to be revealed. All of this should happen in a very respectful manner, of course, but she needs to truly feel like she's an actual woman and not the one who's in control. You need to eventually show her how good you are, and this is done through actually dominating her in bed and making her feel like you're in control. This reinforces your dominance in life as well, and she'll understand that she needs to be the woman if she wants to experience that same level of pleasure again. Now, these things will be incredibly important, and you'll also need to know how older men use their skills to make women fall in love with them so quickly. So make sure that you check out the next video.